Hello students, this is Priti Damle, your English teacher. Students, today we are going to study English grammar, a new topic, relative clause. So first of all, let us understand what is relative clause. So a relative clause is one kind of dependent clause. It has a subject and a verb, but it can't stand alone as a sentence. It is sometimes called an adjective clause because it functions like an adjective. That is, it gives more information about a noun. Now, what is the use of relative clause? Why are we studying it? So, the use is to connect two ideas, two thoughts, but they are directing towards the same thing. Take, for example, a guest sang last night. The guest was Edley. Now, both the sentences are directing towards the guest. Yes, a guest sang last night. The guest was Edley. So, we can combine both the thoughts and we can write it in one as the guest who sang last night was Edley. Yes, take the other example. So the class is meeting now. It is in room 5. Now here also both the sentences are actually indicating what? The same noun, that is the class. It. Yes, so we can again combine the two thoughts into one, that is the class that is meeting now is in classroom 5. Isn't it? So now you can see in both the sentences you have noticed two words have been used to combine the sentences, to combine the thoughts. That is who and that. So we can say a relative clause always begins with a relative pronoun. Yes, which substitutes for a noun phrase, or a pronoun when sentences are combined. Yes, the relative pronouns are like who, which, when, that, where, whom, and whose. So we'll take all the pronouns one by one. Okay? First is which. What's the use? It is used to talk about animals or things. It can work as a subject or as a complement. Take for example, that cat is Egyptian. My sister bought it yesterday. Now both the thoughts are talking about the same thing, that is the cat. So we can combine. How to? That cat which my sister bought yesterday is Egyptian. Okay, so we have used the relative pronoun which so as to combine both the thoughts which are relating to the same noun, that is cat. Take the next one, that. It is used to substitute who or which, and it can be only used in non-defining clauses. Yes, take for example, that woman that I saw in a disco is my boss. Yes, that cat that my sister bought yesterday is Egyptian. So that in both the sentences is your relative pronoun and it is combining the two thoughts. Okay? Next relative pronoun is when. It is used to talk about time. This we all know, isn't it? It only works as a complement. Like for example, we have he visited us last year. We were moving then. So we can combine both the thoughts as he visited us last year when we were moving. So here when is the relative pronoun which is being used so as to combine the thoughts, and when is referring to whom? The year, last year. Okay. Next we have where. It is used to talk about places and it only works as a complement. Take for example, Tom came to Italy yesterday. His girlfriend is living there. So again we can combine the two thoughts into one. Tom came to Italy where his girlfriend is living yesterday. Yes, so I have combined both the thoughts into one using where. And this where is indicating what? Italy. And I have added up the adverb at last, yesterday. Next we have whom. Whom is used to talk about, again, people. And it is used in formal English. It can also be used after a preposition. Like, the woman to whom he was talking is his sister. So here to whom is actually giving you an identification mark, that is the woman whom he was talking to is his sister. Okay. Next pronoun is whose. It is used to talk about possession. Possession means belonging. Like last week I found a dog. Its owner was very rich. So again I combine the two thoughts. Last week I found a dog whose owner was very rich. So here whose is the relative pronoun connecting the two thoughts, and this whose is directing to whom? The dog. The dog is the possession. Kiska possession? Owner ka. Next we have who. We use it to talk about people. It can also work as a subject or as a complement. Like, that woman is my boss. I saw her in a disco. So we can write that woman who I saw in a disco is my boss. Okay. Then we have two types of relative clauses. One is your defining relative clause and the other one is your non-defining relative clause. So first we'll learn about defining relative clause. Defining relative clause gives you important information, or you can say essential information that is needed to understand the sentence. Now this important information can be about person or thing whomsoever is being talked about in the sentence. Yes. Then there are no commas in your defining relative clause. Okay. And if you take away this relative clause, this defining relative clause from the sentence doesn't make sense. Take for example, the team that wins will receive a cup and 100,000 euro. Okay. So here that wins is your defining relative clause. Yes. If you remove this that wins, that is this defining relative clause that wins from the sentence, it will affect the sentence. Yes, it will affect the sentence. It will have a proper impact in the sense the sentence would be incomplete. The team will receive a cup and 1,000 euro. कौन सी टीम को कप और 1,000 यूरो मिलेगा, ये हमें स्पेसिफाई करना होगा. सो दैट इज़ वाई दैट विन्स is your important information. It cannot be removed from your sentence. Understanding? So therefore defining relative clause is important. It gives you important information. It gives you essential information. Take another example. The man who lives next door is always making a noise. Yes. So here your relative clause is who lives next door. Yes, who lives next door is the clause. Now, if I take away this clause from here, who lives next door को मैं हटा दूँ, so you are left with the man is always making a noise. Now there are thousand and number of people living in your colony, in your area. How to find out which man is making the noise? So you have to identify. So this clause is giving you important information. It is giving you essential information for you to understand the man who lives next door, मतलब just बगल में जो रह रहा है, that is the person who makes noise. Okay. Next we have non-defining. Non-defining clauses are the ones that give extra information about a person or thing which is not necessary for the meaning of the sentence. Yes, this is always written between commas, which means it is separated from the main clause. Yes, and if you remove the clause also, that is from between the commas, the sentence makes sense. It will have no impact on the sentence. The sentence would be unaffected. Like for example, Valencia, which is Spain's third largest city, is on the Mediterranean coast. Now, which is Spain's third largest city is known to all, and it is an extra information. How come? कि if I remove this, which is Spain's third largest city, इसको अगर मैं हटा दूँ sentence से, you are left with Valencia is on the Mediterranean coast, and this is making sense. एक complete thought है, therefore it is correct. Yes, and therefore which is Spain's third largest city is separated from the main clause by commas. Okay, take the second example. My parents who are retired come to Spain every year. Okay, so who are retired is an extra information. Retirement has nothing to do to go to Spain. Yes, my parents, if I remove this clause, who are retired from the sentence, you are left with my parents come to Spain every year. Now this what I am left with is making a complete sense. Yes, and therefore this clause who are retired is separated from the main clause with commas. Is it clear? So your non-defining relative clause will have a main clause in the sentence which will be separated with commas from the relative clause, from the main clause. Okay, thank you.